This is it. 691 days of waiting have brought us to the pinnacle of competitive speedcubing. 43 years of history, 9 world champions, each of their names forged in fire, with one question on the minds of everyone amidst the most anticipated world championship of all time. Who will be the 10th? A back-to-back European champion, already a legend in speedcubing's lore, looks to cement himself by finally taking home the ultimate title. The single greatest anomaly the Rubik's Cube has ever seen seeks to bring the title home to China for the first time in history, but so does a name that defines history. 9-time and reigning world record holder Qixian, who has the opportunity of a lifetime to bounce back from a day he surely hasn't forgotten. But the World Championship final is not a very forgiving stage. One moment, one mistake, 1/100th of a second can be the difference between heartbreak and greatness. A stage where defending world champion Max Park has thrived. And now, he looks at a chance to take home his 3rd world title, something done by no one else in history. A moment that defines a generation, the ultimate test of whether a new name belongs among the greatest to ever live. This is the main event. Welcome to 3x3 Finals at the 2025 World Championship, where the 16 fastest Rubik's Cube solvers on the planet fight for the most coveted title in all of cubing, with one goal in mind: to become champion of the world.
We will be getting things started with our 16th seed. He is a 33-time 3x3 gold medalist and the 2023 Polish Champs Bronze medalist, representing Poland, Olaf Kolasinski. Yeah. In our 15th seed, 14-time 3x3 national record holder and 2023 national champion from Chinese Taipei, Kai-Wen Wang.
Kai-Wen Wang, Olaf Kolasinski to kick off this 3x3 finals here in the Seattle Convention Center. Some amazing solving is about to come. Some amazing solving is about to happen over the next hour and a half or so. As the competitors get started, Olaf to solve first as the 16th seed. He's got the yellow cross on the bottom. Let's see what he can do. The edge also connected. Hopefully that will give him an advantage during his F2L stage. Onto ZBL recognition, needing to do U prime 6.62 to start us off.
662. So we'll be able to take a look at the replay here. Olaf starting with the yellow cross. He's a white-yellow solver. Now we get our first look at the scrambles, and these will be very important for this final. Some of our competitors will be solving on the white and yellow cross. Some will be solving on all 6 colors, potentially, or starting their solve on any of the 6 colors, and that can play a big part in the title. And so Olaf there finishing with a ZBLL, a little bit slow on the recognition, but a solid start nonetheless. But the scramble itself, I couldn't tell to begin with. Didn't look particularly fantastic.
Let's see what Kai-Wen is going to do. He's going to choose white cross instead, looking pretty fluid through the first part. WOL perhaps 6.84 to kick off things for him.
684. It looked like what Kai-Wen did there was an insertion to skip OLL. So adding a couple of extra moves to insert his last pair and skipping the OLL, which is a nice little maneuver. A little bit old school from Kai-Wen. It looked like a rotationless solve as well until that last pair, as you see there, and then finishing with the R permutation.
Of course, you don't want to be making many rotations as it just takes up time and doesn't actually make any moves. And you'll see some of that rotation avoidance from some of our solvers here tonight. Olaf now on scramble number 2. On white-yellow, what can you find? Looks like there's, yeah, the two yellow edges are oriented but not solved relative to each other, so it's going to go for white cross instead now. Pretty fast through the first 2 pairs. Now into the last one, and ZB, once again, 7.19 for him.
A decent number of rotations there.
719.
F2L means that you're going to be spending a lot of time moving around the cube without doing any turns and making any progress.
He had a lot of his last layer pieces in that top layer when he started his F2L, which always makes it harder to recognize those F2L pairs. When you see a whole bunch of yellow on top, it makes it a little bit difficult. So a little bit shaky from Olaf to start with. But he's someone that when he's on pace and puts a smooth solve together, he can pull out some amazing times.
Kai-Wen now. Kai-Wen is able to use other colors, but definitely prefers to use white and yellow primarily. Kai-Wen also was the formerly WR4 for 3x3 average, and you can kind of see some of those skills here. Very fluid. Now onto PLL 6.17.
Yeah.
617.
A slight lock up on the PLL there. That was pretty smooth otherwise, and some really nice pinch moves for the OLL there from Kai-Wen Wang.
Yeah, fairly efficient G perm right there. A little bit of a mess up on the U layer near the end.
Olaf just doing a practice solve now before receiving the 3rd scramble. Of course, all competitors have about a minute to get themselves composed, get ready, before they must begin the attempt. Olaf using that time, getting a quick swig of water, composing himself. It is the world stage, the greatest of all stages. Ooh, right off the bat. Doesn't look fantastic to me. We'll hear from Keaton and Felix what they think about this scramble. Yeah, it looks like yellow cross is going to be the choice now. Having to do a lot of F moves to orient pieces. And there we go, Seung just into J-Perm, 5.88, his best solve so far.
That's an excellent set of last layer cases from Olaf right there. We can take a look at it again. The F12 looked okay. Little bit of a jerky kind of motion there, doing a couple of F moves and getting jammed, but a nice finish.
Really good transition. Now remember, all of the competitors will do their 5 solves. We will get an average of 5, also called the Olympic average, and then we will rank all the competitors based on that. None of the competitors who are upcoming know about any of the results so far. They don't know anything about the scrambles. They are locked away in a completely different room, and will only get that information as they arrive onto the stage. Kai-Wen now looking a little bit better than Olaf. They've traded solves so far. Yellow cross is the choice. A little bit of hesitation. Overall looking decently fluid. Did need to do UU instead of doing U prime until the very end. The commentator's curse coming in, 8.67.
Yeah, so as you can see there, Kai-Wen a little bit slower turning, has a little bit slower turning speed than Olaf. Kai-Wen known more for his big cube solving, coming 3rd in the 5x5 event earlier at this World Championship, which I talked to him, he was very pleased with, and I think he'd be pretty stoked to be in this 3x3 final. And he's now counting a 6.8, which I think is not going to get near the top, but let's see if he can pull it out for the next few solves.
Yeah, indeed. All these guys looking for the podium spot. It's going to be incredibly tough for solvers this far down, just because the podium is going to be really, really hard. There are so many incredible solvers yet to come. We are just getting started after all, and we're still seeing some great work coming out from all the solvers here. Yeah, white cross feels very natural of a choice here. 2 pieces already solved relative to each other. They're just on this U layer just to get them onto the D layer. Olaf does that in a flash. And now just finishing it up, and that's the first sub 5-second solve, 4.76.
There we go. That was a beautiful solve. This looks like the best scramble that we've seen so far by quite a mile, I would say. It looks like it's potentially a 3-move cross on white, and so our solvers here will be able to plan a lot into their solve with a scramble that looks this nice.
Yeah.
And that's probably what Olaf did there, and I believe finished with the ZBLL. We'll get a closer look now. Yep, U2 F2R2 with a free pair.
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
Oh, wow.
That's a single rotation for Olaf right there into a fairly nice, easy to recognize UZB.
We have some incredible solvers coming up. Solve number 4. It could be electric. The entire city of Seattle might just explode. We'll have to see. Kai-Wen, what can he do now? Exact same start. But now into F2L, a little bit choppy, unfortunately. And here's the PLL now, and yeah, just not able to fully execute. 9.66 for him.
Yeah. R-perm again for Kai-Wen. This a little bit tough with the .OLL, it looks like.
Yeah, and a few lockups on that last layer. Obviously, speed cubing's a sport that requires incredibly fine motor skills, and that's quite hard to do when you're under pressure. So this is to be expected in these sorts of finals. The occasional misstep like that from Kai-Wen Wang.
And he misrecognized the PLL on that one. Started to do an A-perm, realized it wasn't the right alg, and needed to re-grip in order to do the R-perm.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like you want to just keep solving, but your brain can't keep up with your hands on occasion.
Yeah, tough one there for Kai-Wen. Best possible, worst possibles are now populated. 6.56, 5.75. You know, if Olaf can get 5.75, he'd need a monumental effort to do so, but he'd put himself in at least some type of striking distance. Good speed here. Another ZBLL, 5.74. That's a great way to close out this average. He's going to be looking at a low 6, I believe.
Yeah, you had one cross piece in place for him already on blue. Does a edge orientation in order to do ZB instead of going for the peel or for the PLL conversion.
That's an interesting tactic, and he ends with an average better than his round 3, which is pretty impressive. Doing that on the world stage,
especially after the first 2 solves, bringing it back and getting 3 fairly decent ones.
Yeah, indeed. Good of him to have no regrets, just take each solve as they come. Kai-Wen will need to do the same after 2 unfortunate drops.
Looks like 2 solved blue cross pieces there.
Yeah, blue looks pretty good.
Ooh, white is the choice instead. Doing a rotation to get that on the bottom layer. And then little OLL, PLL action. 8.20 will wrap up Kai-Wen Wang's performance here at the World Championships. An amazing job by him across all events, 7.90.
As we take a look at Kai-Wen's solution, see that last F2L pair, the insertion to give himself the oriented edges, but Kai-Wen only knows T and U ZBLL. He doesn't know the L cases, he's told us, and so...
Congratulations to our first 2 competitors.
With the COL and the U-perm.
Amazing job from our first 2 finalists there. We should be getting our next 2 set of finalists coming up. I will let Kevin do that introduction. I'm not going to steal his thunder. They should be just walking down from the green room just now.
They're all exciting pairings, but this is a pretty fun pairing, if you ask me.
Just as we get going, what else did you guys see there? Nerves certainly played a factor for Kai-Wen. How would you guys manage that on such a huge stage?
And there's no silver bullet to managing nerves in these situations, but you do just have to tell yourself confidence is key, and so you tell yourself you've practiced, you've been in this place before, at least in a national final, so you do have the ability, you can do it, and it's a confidence game really when it comes to these situations.
I also don't think it's something that you can do right now and plan for as you're waiting to go up for the first time. You should be doing some practice at home for this. And then, like Felix said, once you go up there, you just have to believe in yourself, focus on your solving, treat it as much as you possibly can as a solve that you would normally do at home.
Indeed. Great nerves, great tensions. Of course, all of the competitors are steeled veterans, but it gets to even the best of us. I think we're still waiting for the competitors to come down.
Speaking of veterans, Seung Nam, one of our upcoming finalists. He's been in the last 3 World Championship finals, I believe, alongside Max, the most experienced World Championship finalist in 3x3. So he's seen the situation before. He's put down some good times. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. I'm really, really interested to see what Matty will do, especially when he comes across the scramble number 4. We think that one is pretty good. I think it's going to depend on what he gets on 1, 2, and 3. If he's on good pace, ooh, watch out. Matty is he's gunning for it.
Next up, we have our next 2 competitors. In the 14th seed, he was the 2017 World runner-up in Paris and the 2018 Asian champion from the Republic of Korea, Seung Hyuk Nam. In the 13th seed, placing first at the 2022 North American Championships and third at the most recent North American Championships from the United States of America, Matty Inaba. Runners, please bring the first solve.
As Felix alluded to earlier, 2 of the sport's greatest competitors, Seung Hyuk Nam, Matty Inaba, have been in these situations many times, many championship titles to their name, many finals appearances to their name. Seung Hyuk Nam recently getting his first world record after an illustrious career, taking time off for mandatory military service, coming back as a big cube main, but he's here on the world stage, world's finals in 3x3. 6'11" was his average in the last round. Did an incredible job to make it. What can he pull out here in the final? Only time will tell. First solve up for Nam. Getting a very nice OLL that you can use to recognize PLL very quickly. 565 for him.
Yeah, Seung Hyuk, one of our color neutral solvers, which means he chose yellow over other colors because he thought it was the best. You want to look for that going forward. Little bit of an awkward execution on the U-Perm coming straight in from the Stealth Bomber OLL, but overall, fairly good execution.
That was a really nice solution. No rotations, very few regrips, and yeah, just tiny block up at the end.
Now the hero of Hawaii, Matty, putting on a show. Can he close it out? 5.11. He was on incredible pace there. A low 4 or potentially better, but a great solve to open his account.
I'm amazed how quickly Matty does inspection and just goes straight into the solve. We barely had time to blink, and the solve was halfway through. Oh, just misses the finish of that PLL.
Oh, the F-Perm, one of the longest PLOs by move count. Fairly good execution until the last couple of turns there. 5'11", still the fastest we've seen on that solve so far.
The audience is in it too. If you could hear from the crowd mics, a considerable groan as those last 3 moves from Matty just locked up a little bit. Still an incredible start from him. He has a lot of good scrambles to go. And let's see, hopefully he can take advantage. Nam now. Looks like he's aiming at white. Once again, changing orientations pretty quickly here. What can he do? One of the best turners in the world, has very fluid turning, rarely locks up, just a tiny bit there. ZBLL 6.58. Good work from Nam.
That's right, Manu Nam has one of the smoothest turning styles you'll see out there. Really, really nice to watch and fluid. A little bit stuck there on the last F2L pair, but finishes with a nice ZBLL. Whereas Matty's turning style is just all guns blazing, all out, maximum TPS, just fully sending it. So a little bit of a contrast in turning styles between these two.
Yeah, as we saw on solve number 1, Matty, an incredibly fast turner. I got the chance to talk to him just a month ago, asking him what is he going to focus on. He's like, everything, obviously, But of course, efficiency and turn speed, bad lock up there. Still a decently efficient solution. That's incredible. That is world class. Making a bad solve look good with a 5.34.
Yeah, saved by the last layer, just like Olaf, a Soon J-Perm, or in this case, anti-Soon J-Perm, helping. Those are some of the fastest cases, just both by move count and by ergonomics.
Wow. Just amazing. At the start of that, I thought, oh no, he's thrown away a good one. But what a comeback from Matty Hiroto Inaba. It's still on the cards, a low 5. A low 5 is going to put him in a really, really good spot to make a serious podium run.
That's really good mental control there from Matty. Even with the rough start, he kept going, kept solving. That's really important in finals. Well, any solve.
Here's Nam now. I think he's going to go for the first non-white yellow. Blue cross is going to be his choice. And here's OLL now into PLL. 580, just textbook. Absolutely just by the book.
That was really nice. Just got a little bit unlucky with the last layer cases there. One of the harder OLLs to execute, especially under pressure. And then the R permutation, which is not the greatest. So yeah, with an easier last layer there, that would have been low to sub 5. But still, like you said, a really smooth solution.
It'd be interesting, Olaf doing Fru Rough into a ZB there. Seung Hyuk doing a OLL-PLL combination.
Wow, very, very short inspection. Matty with a very fast F2L going into PLL now. This one felt like it could have been a lot better if it weren't for a couple lockups. 5-7-2.
A little bit of a pause there on the OLL recognition.
Oh, that's this. Did he finish the last cross edge after the first 2 pairs or something like that? Must have been deliberate. And then the R3 with the U-perm at the end there. That OLL looked like it could potentially skip the PLL. He would know that it would solve one of the blocks, but yeah, ended up with the U-perm instead.
Not too bad of a PLL case. Matty executing it decently well. His solution length has looked pretty good. It's actually the execution that's been just a touch sloppy. If you can call a 5-second solve sloppy, that is.
But he probably knows he needs a bit more. He needs to pick up the pace if he's a chance to get on that podium.
Now here it is. This is the solve. This is the scramble that Olaf got a sub 5 on. Nam looks like he's also going to go for the white cross. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone picked it here. Really solid, just the tiniest pause. Oh, didn't quite solve F2L, unfortunately. 7.89.
Yeah, looks like he misinserted one of the F2L pairs there. We'll have a closer look. Yeah, for the third pair, he didn't quite get the edge in the F2L pair in the F2L slot.
And you can hear the groan from the audience. Unfortunately, no sub 6 possible now. After counting the 6.58 for Nam. But he can still take over first. Of course, Matty will have something to say to that. Blue cross, interesting choice for Matty on this one. Lightning fast speed. EPLL 5.35, really solid, but blue cross is an interesting choice there.
Yeah, I mean, for the color neutral solvers like Matty, it's about picking a cross as soon as you can and then just going for it. And definitely with his inspection time, that's what he does.
He definitely went for it.
He doesn't mess around in the inspection. But yeah, it looks like blue and white are both pretty easy on that 4th solve, it seems.
So Matty is locked into a 5 seconds average now. He's guaranteed to take over first place at the moment after 4 solvers have gone. 1/4 of the finalists have gone, and Matty is up there. I expect to see that his name will remain up there for quite some time.
Yeah, 527 average is a little bit off of projected Worlds podium, but any sort of underperformance by our top solvers would allow Matty's BPA of 527 to take it home.
And of course, the top solvers are all incredible, but this is an unprecedented situation. Of course, the largest Worlds competition, the largest competition ever. Blue cross looks like his Nam is going for. There was a bit of a pair there, kind of switching at the last minute.
Yeah.
And yellow will be his choice in the end. OLL now going to PLL. 6.60 is going to wrap up a 6-second average from Seung Hyuk Nam. An amazing solver. And 6:33 will be his time.
6:33 average there. Yeah, it looked like he switched cross colors at the last minute. Maybe he didn't find anything particularly nice, even though that blue cross on the last looked decent. Perhaps couldn't find a good continuation and decided to switch.
It does look like you have a free pair on there as well. The red, white.
The red, white, and blue. Well, isn't that poetic?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
massive
a
lockup.
bad lockup from Matty. This is almost certainly going to be the worst, and it is confirmed to be 5.47. He feels like he's done a good enough job at this point. His last solve of Worlds 2025, unfortunately, not the way he probably pictured it, but he'll be at the top at least through several solvers, I imagine.
That's a very competitive average from Matty.
Man.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say about the solve, but oh my goodness, the lockup. Matty did take care to preserve that pair on blue. The standard solution will leave the pair sort of upside down in the slot, which is a bit awkward to deal with, but Matty able to do an extra U prime during the cross in order to
Matty
leave
Hiroto
that
Inaba,
pair
we just
safely
saw
outside.
you in 3x3 finals. What were you hoping to put down?
Just like a mid to low 5, so I did that, put myself in a decent position, so yeah, we'll see what happens.
Congratulations. We are going to see if it was enough. You can go grab a seat on our wall over there, and we'll see if it was enough. Good job, Matty.
The cubing Jedi himself, amazing solver, one of the best the sport has to offer, an incredible guy, a very smart guy. He will be going to Columbia University. Can you imagine? And he's incredibly good at the 3x3 Rubik's Cube as well.
Not to mention golf, baseball, oil painting. He can do it all, Matty. And I think he'll be pretty happy with that average. That'll be pretty competitive. And yeah, we'll see if he's done enough.
Seung Nam getting a 6.33 average, not last. He's just an incredible solver, generational solver, a pride of Korean speed cubing. Certainly, he's had an amazing career, and it's just awesome to see him here representing his country on the world stage once again.
Yeah, with the growth and progression of speed cubing and how quickly people improve, getting into 4 World Championship finals in a row is no mean feat. That's very impressive from Nam, and he'll breathe a deep sigh of relief now that's all over and really enjoy himself and hopefully and love watching the rest of the finals.
Something tells me we're not done seeing Nam, at least in the big cubes. Certainly, he definitely knows there's some hardware to be won there in future World Championships as well. As we're getting ready to bring on the next 2 competitors, I think Kevin is just waiting for them to just get ready. Thoughts about what we saw here? Any new information we learned about the scrambles or potential solutions?
Yeah, again, after the first few, our first 2 competitors, I thought that this set would probably favour the white-yellow solvers. A little bit of indecision potentially for the cross colours because, yeah, the first 3 scrambles didn't look like they had a particularly obvious choice. Again, all these competitors are great enough to handle that, but I think it'll favour the white and yellow solvers.
Yeah, coming out of the first 2 color neutral solvers of our block, most of the time doing white with a couple of blues in there as well means that the color neutral guys won't have an advantage going forward.
And that's actually pretty huge because the top 2 seeds, they are white-only solvers, and Max Park, of course, and Timon Kolasinski, color-neutral solvers. So it'll be interesting to see how that battle is going to go down in the end. Kevin, for our next 2 competitors.
In our 12th seed, he's a 58-time 3x3 gold medalist and placed 3rd at the 2024 European Championship. From Russia, Alexey Svetkov. And in the 11th seed, an 82-time 3x3 gold medalist, as well as the current Louisiana Championship. From the United States of America, Dylan Miller. Runners, you may now bring the cubes.
Dylan Miller, Alexey Svetkov, again, 2 amazing solvers of the 3x3 cube. Of course, Alexey will be using Rue He has a completely different solving style to almost everyone else in this field. Dylan Miller, a CFOP solver known for his very, very good TPS.
Dylan, a crowd favorite, local, well, not Seattle local, but US local, entirely focused on 3x3. He often streams on YouTube some very, very large 3x3 sessions. He'll be absolutely thrilled to be making this final, and I think he's got nothing to lose here.
Indeed, and I think the same thing goes for Alexey. Has incredible improvement over the last 6 months, getting a 5.50 and then tying that again, getting 5.55 to make it into this final. So now Alexey with Rue, he's going to build the first block, second block, CMLL, and now going into the LSE. That looked like a good LSE start. 7.17. Unfortunately, just not efficient enough in the first 2 steps.
It's a decent arrow case for Rue. It's the shortest number of moves in order to get edges oriented. Alexey knowing most of EO LRB, which means he's able to combine that step plus getting the left and right edges in to solve the blocks. So you have a sandwich.
You can see Alexey there wiping his hands on his pants multiple times before starting the solve. Seemingly a little bit nervous. I mean, my hands are sweaty as well, even just watching, so I can't blame him. And that's, I guess that's good presence of mind to do that. You want to make sure your grip is solid on the cube.
A quick shout out while Dylan Miller takes a warm up. Would you believe that Keaton Ellis is a CFOP solver with all those acronyms he threw down there?
I don't know if he's making them up.
Incredible work.
It helps to do some Rue one-handed every here and there.
All right, Dylan Miller now. Dylan will only be solving on white and yellow as well, so perhaps he can take advantage of this scramble set. There's the OLL into PLL 5.22. Very solid time for Dylan Miller. Exactly what he wanted to see, getting his account open.
He's very happy with that. Great way to start there for Dylan. One rotation, but some lovely pinch F moves. Those are really hard to execute, especially under pressure. So that's that tells me that he's feeling pretty good if he can do those sorts of turns in the World's Final.
That's absolutely his specialty, focusing mostly on good fundamental solutions with free rotations and high turn speed. I saw Dylan Miller 10 years ago for the first time and instantly compared him to Lucas Setter, seeing him on the world stage 10 years later with that incredible turn speed of his, bringing him to a good 5-second solve.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Dylan, of course, thinking of it would be amazing to make it into the final. Well, mission accomplished. Now it's on to the next step. What can Alexey do from here? Doesn't look like there are, well, there's like one small block, but I don't know if that's on his colors.
He's got red, white as the block that I'm looking at right now. Rue does not rotate at all here.
Ooh, looked like interesting. Well, we'll have to go back and take a look at the LSE 6.34.
That looked like really slow recognition of the EOLR case.
And kind of a weird pause there when he was building the second block. Second block feels like it should be a little bit faster as well. He might want that one back. Dylan was telling me at the last World Championship, a little bit disappointed that he didn't make 3x3 finals. He's here now and off to a pretty good start. What would you guys do in this situation? You've got a good first solve. What's going through your head?
Like I said, I think Dylan's got nothing to lose here, really. He'll be so thrilled with that, and he'll just want to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, White Cross, it looks like, is going to be his pick here, as is, I believe, every single solver so far. And he's off. Amazing turn speed. Really good F2L. He got to last layer extremely quickly. Can he finish? 5.46. A little fist pump from him. Well done to Dylan Miller.
That is so solid. That F2L was really, really strong on this solve. Some amazing finger tricks there from Dylan. Oh my goodness, that was a super quick F2L. Got a little bit unlucky with, what was that, an end permutation at the end there, but managed to finish strong.
Yeah,
nice
interesting choice of that
into that OLL. Dylan, a fundamental solver, not looking to do COLL into a U-perm there.
Yeah, those are really nice finger tricks. I'm amazed he can do that under this much pressure.
Of course, his solutions aren't the most efficient, but of course, it doesn't really matter, I guess, at this point. If you can turn fast, your solutions can be a little bit longer and you can get away with it. Alexey now, where are the blocks? There it does look like there is some type of block there on white. Oh, he's rotating a lot, trying to figure out the... This is a little too much, unfortunately. Can he find a good solution? This is looking a little bit better. Fasimo, no EO needed, 5.15 seconds.
Yeah, consistent improvement from Alexey. Took a lot of time to recognize cases. Looks like he had all edges oriented once he finished CMLL, which helps because the LR case is helpful if you only have to do the LR step. Yeah, it's exactly what he had right there. Nice case as well.
Yeah, normally when you see solvers rotating the cube around that much in inspection, it's not a fantastic sign, but that's not always the case. But it's generally not a great sign, so it was great that he was able to execute really well there. Dylan, 2 solves in. This average is looking really strong. He's still got to execute though. It's not done yet.
I don't know if he would believe it if I told him, but right now both of his solves are under Matty's average that he's posted. So that means he's guaranteed to count at least one time. That is better than Matty's average. He just needs a couple more. And he's going to put himself in an extremely good position to place very highly. Yellow cross the choice now. Great fast turning. Trying to recognize ZBLL. U prime, 6.47. Bit slower. That 5.46 will count, but that's not too bad for a counting time.
Yeah, looks like he did edge orientation into a ZBLL there for his last layer, and then actually finished with OLL and PLL. So, yeah, I'm not sure if he doesn't know the ZBLL case or if is feeling a bit nervous and couldn't quite get the recognition down. But still, he's in a good spot. But probably needs two solid solves to finish it off and take that first spot ahead of Matty.
It's possible to drop that 647.
And we know with that scramble, the 4th scramble coming up, I would expect big things from Dylan.
Yeah, especially playing to his strengths of being able to turn extremely fast.
Now, of course, we think that this one is a really good one, but it won't really matter for Alexey because he's not going to make a cross whatsoever.
Looks like he's going to be focusing on green here. You can always tell which block they're going to do by what they hold on the left. Brewers almost never rotate during their solves.
Go EO.
Oh.
Yeah, just wasn't able to put together a good solution. You can see he's frustrated with himself. 8.05, unfortunate for Alexey.
Looked like there was something that went wrong there with the second block. First block execution seemed okay, but the CMLL, there's an edge out. Oh, he put an edge flipped in the back. Nothing you can do there. Once you've done that, it's just going to take too many moves. You'll still keep your CMLL, but it does mean that you're going to lose a lot of time.
That back slot, of course, very difficult to have vision into. And Alexey with 622 average. Right now, the best he can hope for is 3rd place. Cannot catch Matty, cannot catch Olaf Kuzminski.
Dylan taking his time here before the 4th solve. I think he'll be pretty pleased to see the scramble here. Hopefully it gives him a bit of confidence.
Yeah, he'll have to steal his nerves a little bit. Actually, he's shaking his head, interestingly. Still rotating around, trying to plan as much as possible. A bit of a pause halfway through F2L, and
He's get diag again.
yeah, too choppy. Too choppy. He's going to count that 6 now, too. Trending in the wrong direction, unfortunately, is Dylan Miller. 7.57. At least he has a big smile on his face.
Shaking his head a lot during inspection. Did a lot of moving around, but stayed in the orientation. Didn't have to do too much there, but F double sexy F prime into Y perm. Not the worst last layer case, but Dylan getting a little unlucky with the diag that he's seen so far.
Yeah, it looks like that scramble has sort of 2 quite obvious pairs in I think blue, red, and orange, blue. But he solved them in the front there, leaving himself a little bit exposed in terms of look ahead, especially if some of the other F12 pieces were stuck in the back. And so, yeah, struggled a little bit finding that 3rd and 4th pair and sort of lost his rhythm after that start.
Interestingly, in our top-down view, which we have access to, we saw Alexey do a bunch of J perms to warm up. Something interesting. Not sure if he would ever need those, but perhaps just good as a trigger to get his fingers warmed up, ready to solve. Here he is, solve number 5 now, his final solve of the World Championship. He's had an incredible run. Can he cap it off? 6.27 for his efforts.
A little slow for the blocks here. Yeah, that second block took a little bit longer than I would have expected. And that's not a bad OLL case. It's a 9-mover, but it does require you to regrip your hands in a way that Ru solvers don't like to do that much.
Certainly an admirable finish for Alexey Svetkov. Holds the record for Ru single in 3x3, 3.95. Unfortunately not able to reproduce that, but he's had some fantastic moments recently, and he has a very bright career ahead of him.
Yes, Alexey only 16, so experiencing this. He's got many world championships, I'm sure, ahead of him.
Dylan taking an extra tick just to get ready. 40 seconds have passed on his timer. And yeah, he's ready to go. Solve number 5 for him at the World Championship. Can he get best possible average? 5.72 would put him in second place at the moment, just behind Matty, Hiroto, Inaba. White cross is the choice. Some decent turning coming out. A little locky right there at the end of F2L. Decent transition, 5.61. A great average from Dylan Miller, all things considered.
Yeah, that was a very solid finish. Oh, some pretty cool F2L there going on from Dylan. Tricky OLL to execute, but then
both our
really
finalists,
does well on
Dylan
the
Miller. You just put down a solid average in 3x3 finals. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Not too mad about it. Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be competing in the World Championship final here in the U.S.?
It's amazing. I mean, I've had like a bad stretch of results in majors, so making it, I cried. It was really an emotional moment for me. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, congratulations for sure. Question is, was the orange hair special for World Championship?
No, I just thought it would look good. That's it.
Dylan, congratulations.
Dylan going...
And we will get set for our next 2 finalists.
Dylan going Super Saiyan perhaps in the 3rd round of 3x3 to make it into finals. You could hear how emotional he was. He mentioned he cried. Of course, making it into finals, a huge moment in any Speedcuber's career.
Especially coming back from, missing Worlds 2023, missing North American Champs 2024. It's always much more rewarding when you've had those heartbreak moments and you manage to come back and manage to bounce back, and that's what Dylan's done here. He should be very, very happy and very proud.
As should Alexey. I mean, he is a representative for Ru on, as we keep saying, the world's biggest stage. Everyone in the world knows about the Ru method now, and all of you at home now know the name Alexey Svetkov, and do not forget it. He's here to stay. He will have more incredible results to come, I'm sure. Yeah,
taking a look at his average, really 1 solve away from being able to compete in that top bracket. So, just a couple of small tweaks, and I assume he'd be very competitive in 2027.
Many, many years of solving ahead for him. We will be getting another Ru solver coming up next, and Kevin will introduce him.
Just entering the top 10, our 10th seed. In 2023, just 2 years ago, he set the world record for the fastest average by a new competitor, and just this weekend, he became the one-handed world champion. From the Philippines, Neo Juarez. In the 9th seed, a 15 times gold medalist and your 2x2 single world record holder, representing Poland, Teodor Zajder. Runners, you may now bring the cubes.
Incredible roars from the crowd there for both Neo Juarez of the Philippines and Teodor Zajder of Poland, doing their countries proud by making it to 3x3 finals here in Seattle. There are some incredible storylines for both of them, both inexperienced in some ways, but that inexperience perhaps working out in their favor as they shock expectations and perform extremely well here at Worlds 2025.
Dying of cuteness right now. Teodor looks like he's just popped some chocolate into his mouth. It looks like right before the finals, get that last minute energy boost. But he's chilling out.
On the other side, we've got Neo with the Roo, Roo, Roo chants from the crowd. Neo, of course, one of the 2 Roo solvers in this final, doing so excellently in one-handed. Taking his time. Competitors, instead of the 60 seconds the regulations typically require, the rules of this competition are a little bit more lax. Competitors will have up to 90 seconds, but that is a very hard cutoff.
And we're off. What can Neo do here? Of course, his fellow Roo user, 6.59. Can he beat that? Of course, a very excellent solver in his own right, 6.27. Pretty solid solution there from Neo.
Looks fairly standard, nothing too tricky that I'm seeing instantly. Just a standard 9-mover into a 4-mover into a 4C case.
Looks like neither of these competitors are opting for warm-up cubes. This is interesting to see. But yeah, some competitors like having that cube there to practice their turning right before their solves. Others, like Teodor and Neo, looks like they're not.
Certainly an interesting choice. Teodor, more of a classical CFOP solver. Turning on the timer right before he gets started. There's F2L into this last layer, 5-5-7. A great solve from Teodor Zeiler as he gets a shot of the crowd cheering for him.
Yeah, one small lockup during F2L, but otherwise pretty clean there from Teodor.
Able to orient a couple of edges with a sledgehammer for his last slot in order to get, instead of a dot case, it ended up being one of the best OLLs, a good flower.
That case just being 8 moves to solve. A great start for his 3x3 finals appearances, Teodor. Neo now trying to find an efficient solution to first block. Interesting. Rotating back now.
Fairly clean into CMLL. Able to orient or misorient a couple of edges, it seems, in order to get a 4-edge case. These are always the best for Roo. It'll only require 3 moves in order to orient everything, and then a decent case from there.
Yeah, just good stuff from Neo there.
Oh, and a UM2 in order to finish with 4C. It's an incredibly lucky case.
Shades of Sean Patrick Villanueva there from 2019, finishing with one of the a similarly quite easy last 6-edge case to take second place. So, yeah, keeping that Philippine Roo tradition going.
It's incredible to see Roo perform so well here. I'm sure many watching at home will be inspired. It's just the magic of speed cubing. Teodor now, as he's doing his inspection, trying to plan as much as possible. Interesting, he's going to be starting off with white actually facing him, doing a rotation now. F2L going into OLL, just going to PLL rather, just a short time to recognize 5.85.
Again, like the first solve, looked like a pretty standard solution. Slight pause during F2L, cost him a few tenths, but otherwise solving pretty solidly, I would say. Just, yeah, hoping for some better cases and hopefully can clutch out a strong finish.
I'd say that's a slightly better than average last layer. It's one of the WOLLs, which takes a decent number of moves, but then into a clockwise U-turn with the bar in the back. Now, also flipping a lot here, just like Alexey did on his solve.
Ooh, yeah. Originally had a blue on the side, now switched it up. It's now orange.
Ends with the exact same orientation that Alexey did.
Ooh, and surprised himself perhaps. 5.16, he's going to count 5.23.
Almost exactly the same time that Alexey got. He ended in the exact same orientation. Doesn't look like he had the exact same solution there. But it seems to be that once you get past the first block, the rest of it seems to fall together pretty quickly.
Neo took a visible sigh right before he started the solve. And so I think he was surprised by the speed of that one, given the sigh.
Hey, it's not a crime to get lucky after all. Teodor will be hoping that the luck will favor him on this third scramble as well. 5-5-7, 5-8-5. A great start in any occasion, not least of which World Championship Finals. His first World Championship, can you imagine it? Oh, he looks like an absolute vet going into, misrecognizing the ZBL, unfortunately. You need to do H-perm 6.47.
That was looking really strong right until that last layer. Unfortunately, doing the wrong ZBL algorithm there. He also did an edge orientation case before ZB. Unfortunately, ended up with a H permutation, so that probably cost him an extra second at least.
Yeah, that's a set of cases that mirror each other, and the algorithms will go in different directions. End up with an H-perm in that case.
I would have to say both of these competitors for their first World Championships, for their first World Championship Finals, looking pretty relaxed. They're looking pretty relaxed.
Well, perhaps it's because they know that they're going to be back here in 2 years' time. Perhaps no is a little bit strong, but certainly they'll back themselves to do it. Neo now, this fourth scramble, let's see what it produces for Rue. This was a pretty bad one for Alexey. Got an 8.05. What can Neo do? Ooh, looked like a pretty interesting case after LSC. Or rather, the LSC was interesting, 6.24.
9-move CMLL here.
Man, I was thinking about.
A little bit of a pause there, trying to recognize whether or not he should be doing an M or an M prime, I believe.
But Neo getting a sub-6 average no matter what now. Best possible, 554, worst possible, 591. That'll place him pretty strongly, but won't be able to surpass Matty, Hiroto, and Inaba. Will be able to slot himself into second place ahead of Dylan Miller if he's finishes well.
Yep. Disregarding Teodor, Neo will finish in the top 3 so far. Just a matter of what the order is going to be. But of course, Teodor is pacing quite well himself. He needs to capitalize on this one here. Great turning going to OL, fast PLL, and a 5.09. Amazing solve from the Polish prodigy.
Fantastic stuff. Love the time here. This is the same one that Olaf got a pop, a crazy pop out 4.76.
Yeah, fourth scramble, notably the easiest scramble I think in this finals, and Teodor executing strongly. Did I see him look up at the crowd right before he started his solve, or were my eyes deceiving me? That's pretty sick.
That is swagger.
Yeah.
If so.
Now here taking his time.
He's taking it all in.
Soaking in the moment.
I'm ready.
He earned it. He deserves it. Can you imagine less than 10 competitions into his career? Sub-6 average, world champion in OH. Just incredible, regardless of what he does here.
Oh no!
Cube dropped out of what would have been an incredible solve to finish this world, 6.44, regardless.
Oh no. This is a decent solve. I think he had 6 edges misoriented. It's the worst case possible. Oh man, but just
brutal.
dropping it with the last M slice.
Yeah, looked on pace for BPA there. Best possible average.
Wow, you can see from the replay there. Yeah, definitely on pace for best possible, or if not, was going to be a mid-5. Would have been fantastic. He's going to slot in right under Dylan Miller now. Teodor again with the same shot. He cannot catch Matty, but he can still put himself into second place. His pace is looking really good. Can he finish? 5.07, best possible average, 5.50. Just amazing stuff. Wow. Able to turn so quickly and so accurately at such a young age. Teodor Zeider, everybody.
That's amazing. That is amazing solving from Teodor in the World Championship final.
That's a full step solution. F double sexy F prime into what I always think of as one of the riskiest G perms to do.
That G perm was incredible.
In the world final, how do you feel?
Could have been a little bit better, as I could have actually maybe have guaranteed PR. It's still only a 5.7, but I'm glad I at least got an actual better average than in the semifinal. That's all I really wanted. And also, like, I already made it to the final. I already won a title, so like I was already good for the whole comp.
I was going to ask, you are the one-handed world champion. Did you expect to be in the 3x3 finals?
Yeah, but not by that big of a margin, actually. 10th place is kind of crazy for me.
It absolutely is. How much fun did you have with this crowd?
So much fun. I was able to take all of this well, given the amount of just people I met in this competition these 4 days.
Absolutely. It has been a big weekend for you. Congratulations. 591 average in 3x3 finals. Go take it all in.
Excellent work from Neo Juarez and Teodor Zeider, representing their home countries well. So far, here are the results. We are 8 solvers in, 8 great averages so far. Matty Inaba leading the pack, 5.47, got off to a great start. Unfortunately, not able to get best possible average, but still leading the pack. Teodor Zeider in second place,
3x3 finals.
5.50, and Dylan Miller, 5.85.
So far, we've seen an incredible set of solves from these guys. Rue not going to be able to podium here. Neo and Alexey will be off of it, but Matty, Teodor, Dylan, an incredible first half podium.
Kian Barry just introducing a new set of scramblers, judges, runners. Of course, these are your positions that are required to be filled at every speed cubing competition. But of course, you don't have to be one of the best in order to do so. At your local competition, you can always volunteer. There are many delegates like Keaton and myself, and many veterans such as Felix Zemdegs who are happy to show you the ropes. So you can get involved in your local speed cubing communities as
to walk down
Kevin
the hallway. I'm just going to
introduce.
let you guys all know that we have our current top 3 sitting over on the side in front of the World Championship banner. We will be keeping that updated for you. So, you know, someone's going to win this thing in like 20 minutes, and it might be someone sitting over there. So if you're looking for the reactions, that's where it's going to be.
Looks like we're still waiting on the next 2 finalists to come up. Impressions of the top 8 so far, guys? Or the first 8, I should say.
Pretty strong, pretty strong. We've got a couple of mid-5 and a couple of high-5 averages. And a lot of these competitors doing even better than they did in the semifinals. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but yeah, doing better than the semis. So that's good to see. Hopefully it bodes well for some super fast solves from the top 8. I'm really excited.
Means that the scrambles are not necessarily the world's best scrambles, but definitely above average here. Means we'll see some really fast times come out of the top guys.
Yeah, we've seen a pretty good range as we cut over to our current top 3. This is the fun little segment we have here. These guys lying in wait. Matty right there sitting in the number 1 spot. He, I think, will enjoy that position, although the next set of competitors will definitely be looking to take over, bump 2 of these guys out of there. Timofei, Tarasenko, Qixian from Russia and China, respectively. Some great solvers. We know what they're capable of. They're walking up now.
Yeah, no surprises.
We're now on to our top 8. In our 8th seed, she wasn't at the last World Championship because she wasn't even competing at the time, and now she's your female world record holder, resetting her record with a 5.07 average in the first round from China, Qixian Sao. Your 7th seed, the current Mega Mings average world record holder, placing 2nd in the 3x3 event at the European Championship, and he already has 2 World Championship podiums under his belt this weekend. From Russia, Timofei Tarasenko. Runners may now bring the cubes.
Great to see. This is the future of our sport. Qixian Sao, you saw on that graphic, 5.36. That used to be the female world record average, but as Kevin introduced, she broke that, smashed it even. 5.0 now, and Timofei Tarasenko, what a breakout star, not just in Megaminx, across the WCA events. Qixian to get us started here. an incredible solver. The knowledge of ZBLL is just amazing for her age. Can she turn her way into perhaps a podium position? There's that ZB, 7-0-0. Not too great for her to start out.
Yeah, looking a little bit lucky on that first solve. Hope she can shake out some of the nerves for the remainder of the average. You were saying it's the future of speed cubing, but it's almost the present of speed cubing. I mean, this is 2025 cubing, you know, continuing to die of cuteness over here.
Qixian using ZB, needing to sledgehammer for that last one. She did come back in the semifinals with a couple of very clutch fours to finish things off, so don't count her out yet.
Meanwhile, Timofei Tarasenko, he's going to be looking to make more of a name for himself, as if he hasn't already. A great turner here. Let's see if he can just finish up the execution. Unfortunately, a little bit sloppy. 661 to start things for him.
Yeah, Timofei with an extremely interesting turning style, quite unconventional. He's self-taught. You'll see probably a few more regrips, and I see some thumb going on the bottom. Obviously, slightly smaller hands than some of the other competitors, but yeah, definitely quite a unique turning style from Timofei.
Also one of our most consistent solvers here throughout the rounds. 5.6, 5.6, 5.7. Not wavering too much, staying incredibly consistent and incredibly fast.
In the past, Qixian has been said to be a little bit fluky. Can she maybe purge those demons here at the World Championship? Well, that's one way to do it. 503, great solve from her.
Yeah, that's the power of ZB there. A solve that didn't look fantastic in terms of the turning, but just so efficient, so few moves going into the ZBLL there. I reckon that was about a 40 to 45 move solution. And yeah, you don't need to be, you know, turning super rapidly to get a low 5 when you're using ZBLL.
A couple of 3-move pairs there as well, needing to take one and turn it into ZB last slot, but otherwise, very few moves, very efficient solving.
Yeah, just amazing solving from Qixian Cao. Soon ZB at that too. Not an easy set. Yep. Timofei is now ready for his second. Will want to come back a little bit. Perhaps hearing the crowd read out to Qixian. He knows maybe she got something good. Going to be hunting for that himself. White cross is his choice. Great turnings on last layer now. 4.28! Wow!
Great F2L. Not the best OLL case, but executes it almost flawlessly here. Unbelievable.
That's the fastest solve we've seen these finals. And I was just about to say, after seeing this scramble a few more times, I think that second one on white, if you get the right solution, yeah, it looks like quite a nice one.
Great fist pump from him. Great celebration. Of course, he got a 3-second solve last week, so he's picking the best time to peak. Qixian now, how is she going to follow up? Nice. Ooh, looked pretty good at F2L. ZBLL right there. That looked like a pie case to me. 5.72.
Qixian's ZBLL recognition is absolutely insane. Just absolutely flawless.
She chose to sledgehammer one of the pairs during the solve as opposed to waiting for edge orientation at the end.
Yes, such a great ZBLL execution and recognition there.
Yeah, she made that look really, really easy. I think I actually misspoke. That actually might have been an H case. Of course, H and Pi, very difficult sets to recognize. So many pieces you need to take a look at. Timofei, just off of his PR2s, the second best solve he's ever gotten in competition. How is he going to follow it up? Will we see a Timofei like solve 1, or will solve 2 Timofei and the Tiny Titan awaken as he has 3 more solves to complete his average? Initially going for yellow, went to white, now back to yellow, but feeling pretty confident in this orientation. Taking 12 seconds of inspection, as you can hear from the mic. And just a touch locky. H-perm at the end. 5.58 is going to be a good solve.
I couldn't tell there if he'd inserted an F2L pair with the edge flipped or if that was just the case that he got. Yeah, it looks like potentially had to do 5 pairs there and take it out, but saves it so smoothly. Just kept going. He just kept going. That's what you need to do.
One of the most important things to remember, folks, of course, these guys, they're all turning fast, but they are also turning extremely accurately. The number of lockups are not significant, and you notice when there is a lockup, their times are completely different. Just a note for the folks at home. Qixian on White Cross. Incredible turning through up to this ZB 441. That is going to be she's going to count the 503 now. Incredible work.
Absolutely insane. That's the same fourth scramble that we want you guys to be looking out for. Fairly easy White Cross. Nice free pair there. Rotationless solution.
Yeah, it looks like she did the perfect solution on this scramble, solving the back two pairs, then the left pair, then the front right with the ZBLS, and then the ZBLL. Perfect solution.
When you look back into the replay, it's just all a blur. Incredible look ahead and turn speed. Qixian showing that she is here to play. It's not just a boys' club, everyone. Oh, man. Timofei now, he's going to get his shot at what we think is a very good scramble on White Cross, holding it in the exact same orientation.
8 seconds.
And yes, White Cross also, a bit of a cube fumble, but he was on pace for something incredibly good, a low 5 perhaps. 5.82 for Timofei.
That was looking really good until the PLL, but that G permutation is one of the harder ones to do. Oh, the Y2 rotation.
Y2.
But really quick into the OLL, just fumbling right at the end of the PLL. Again, kept going. That's so important, and he's still in the running to take out the first place so far from our competitors.
Yeah, GC, one of the worst PLLs, both in terms of move count and execution. You have lots of double turns that take a lot of time, makes the move count feel larger than the actual number.
And quietly, Qixian here, she's on best possible average, would be the female world record. Can she do it? 5.55. I think she's just going to miss it, unfortunately, but an incredible world championships for her. Only competing in 3x3. 5.43. She took over the #1 spot just now.
First place so far. That's amazing. So happy.
Wow. So inspirational is her solving, and she's so little. Incredible. The world of speed cubing never fails to provide.
Timofei has potential for a national record here.
Huge range with that 4.2 and a 6.6. BPA puts him in first. WPA puts him out of contention.
8 seconds.
Yellow Cross is the choice now. Trying to turn fast, a big rotation there. PLL, 5.41. That is going to be extremely solid. 5.58, 5.82, 5.41. His counting times. We're just waiting to see what the average is going to populate as. 5.60. Unfortunately, he's going to just be edged out by Teodor Zajder of Poland, who will remain on in that third position for now.
All right,
But
congratulations to both of our finalists. Qixian Xiao, you just competed in 3x3 finals at the World Championship, and you are in the first position currently. How do you feel?
喜贤，首先恭喜你刚刚完成了在世锦赛的决赛的表现。那么你现在呢是我们排名第1的选手，你现在心情如何呀？
我现在很开心。
I feel very happy right now.
Oh, man.
On your 4-second solve, can you describe to us what happened on the 4-second solve?
在你刚才4秒还原的那一次还原，你能向我们描述一下你当时的心情是怎么样的吗？
That's okay. Okay, well, congratulations, Qixian. You are in the first position at World Championship.
非常恭喜你，启贤，你现在是第1名哦。
Good job.
Oh, man. Just incredible work from Qixian Cao as she takes over the #1 spot as 10 solvers are through. Amazing work from her. So adorable.
We love to see it. And shout out to Timofei as well. I think he wins the title of most consistent solver at this World Championship. Another 5-6 average. I believe it's PR2. So doing that in a World Championship final, again, very impressive from Timofei. Great pairing. Great pairing.
So much potential from both of these competitors. Just incredible stuff. Definitely also want to give a shout out to Bai-Ling Hao, our translator. He's been with us all week behind the scenes. You all might not have been seen him that much, but he's done some fantastic work for us, also prepping us all on pronunciations and such. So thanks for all of your hard work, Bai-Ling. Now, 10 solvers through, only 6 solvers left. Can you believe that the next two are going to be, they have the same first name, Luke and Luke. Kevin is just getting ready to introduce us to them now. As you can see, our current podium. Actually, you can't even see Teodor. He's just either he's so tiny or perhaps he's had to run off.
Taking a quick break somewhere. Seeing our hot seat right there. I love that angle, watching these guys and just knowing that they have a shot.
I wonder when Qixian was asked that question if she even remembers what she did. Sometimes when you go out and do the solves, you just forget everything. You don't know what cross color you did. Don't know which one was easy. You've just done them and you completely forget. Just one solve at a time.
Hey, fair enough. She's earned that right here at the World Championship. I think Kevin now to introduce us to Luke and Luke.
All right, we're up, and it's time for the Luke G's, because in our 6th seed, he's a 30-time 3x3 gold medalist and placed second at the North American Championship, Luke Greiser. Our 5th seed is the 3x3 one-handed world record holder, the all-rounder world record holder, and he placed 3rd at the North American Championship, Luke Garrett. And they're both from the USA. My fault. Runners may not bring the cubes.
Luke G. I don't know how we're going to do this, guys. I guess we're going to have to call one Greiser and one Garrett. You see the head-to-head here, both from the Midwest. They've had loads of rounds against each other, going in Luke Garrett's favor. You see the single, you see the average, 97-54. These guys see each other a lot. They see a lot of scrambles. And man, are they extremely qualified to be here.
Very similar in some ways, very different in others. Luke Greiser focusing solely on 3x3, getting coached by Timon Kolasinski himself. Knows full ZB, he won't use it. He's focusing on his fundamentals for this, and he's going to go for a look ahead in efficiency. Luke Garrett, on the other hand, one of your all-rounders, of course, one-handed world record average, good at nearly every event and absolutely breaking the schedule here at this competition.
Indeed, making Tim Reynolds run a couple extra laps, sweat a little bit. As we get started now, Greiser to solve first. White-yellow solver. A bit locky to start things out on his F2L. Unfortunately, H-perm to finish. 6.47. It's not all over. One solve you get to throw away. He's going to hope it's this one.
Yeah, let's see what we see on this cube, on this solve. Nothing particularly special, a little bit lucky there. But again, kept going. Potential, you can always get a PLL skip in those situations. You've got to keep going.
Yeah, another thing, he started the OLL with an R. It should start with an F, which means he's got to undo that and go into that, and that's going to take a little bit of extra time.
And of course, the mental hit as well. It's very, very small margins here at the World Championship. Luke Garrett now started his semifinal average with a 4, then kind of went off a little bit, 5.6, going in the wrong direction, then brought it back, 4.93, 5.85. Can he get a 4-second solve to open his account? This is sure looking like it on pace. Ooh.
Oh, no.
Just a fumble in the last layer, 10.36. A huge applaud from the crowd to cheer him up a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah, on really strong pace there, but it looked like he had that same G permutation that Timofei struggled on. We'll have to wait and see the replay. Oh, yeah, it's the exact same one and just missed a turn towards the start of our algorithm.
That is a deadly PLL right there. You just hope to avoid it in a situation like this.
Oh, man. A little bit of everything here in Worlds Finals. Luke Grice. Go ahead, Felix.
You can do 1,000 G permutations correctly at home, but unfortunately didn't get it this time.
Yeah, the one time it mattered most for Luke Garrett. Greiser warming his hands up just a little bit up against his neck. Very, very signature. Becoming more and more common among speedcubers also. Saw Timofei do the same thing. All right, time to roll up the sleeves, get to work, and lock in. White Cross is going to be the choice yet again. Luke, known for inspecting pretty far into F2L. Coming up with pretty decent solutions himself. A little bit of exec error. 5.67 for his efforts. Not too bad.
Yeah, that did look like quite an efficient solution, as you say, Manu. Oh, beautiful sort of back insertion there, and a nice VLS to finish his F2L as well. So he skipped the OLL there by adding an extra move to his final pair. Always nice to get some nice cases like that.
A little bit unfortunate. Ends up in what I thought was a V-perm.
Looked like that.
Now, Garrett, interestingly, taking a bandage out, or at least attempting to do so before his next solve. Not sure what that was all about.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we did see him kind of lick his finger a little bit there. Not entirely sure what that's about. Perhaps we can try and get more information on that shortly. White Cross is going to be the choice. Of course, Luke Garrett, a color neutral solver as well. But this one is a lot better than the last. Wow, he just halved his time just like that. 4.68 seconds. Amazing work from Garrett.
That was really nice, but he's pulling out the Band-Aid. He's pulling out the Band-Aid, which is interesting. I mean, Luke has probably done the most solves of anyone here at this competition. Over 4 days, his fingers will be absolutely shredded, but he's got to keep them strong for this final. So, yeah, that's interesting to see.
Helps him focus on something else other than the pressure in this moment.
Yeah, maybe a nice distraction, exactly. It's kind of what you need. You don't want to be thinking about your times, don't want to be thinking about the average.
Yeah, you don't want to be thinking about the 10.36. That's hanging over your head.
I mean, surely at this point, just have to move on from it, have to just call it a DNF. Greiser now hanging his head over the timer. F2L a little bit pause and then bursty turning as he finishes up here. 5.94, extremely solid.
Nice execution on that last layer. Through rough into A-perm, a 16-move last layer with AUF.
Yeah, the lefty A permutation. That was nice and very clean.
Especially if it comes from that angle, needing to do the U and then regrip down, takes the time.
Again, looked like he went into the 8-move T OLL algorithm there, started a couple of turns and went back to the 6-mover. So again, lost a couple of tenths.
Trying to pre-move.
Yeah.
OLL.
Again, you just sometimes your hands keep turning.
Yeah, perhaps just recognizing where a handful of the pieces were going to be on OLL, but not all of them. He looks like, has he taken the Band-Aid off now? Not entirely sure. Wiping his hands in any case is Luke Garrett. He'll be looking for something similar to 4.68 and nothing close to 10.36.
I think it's the left pinky finger.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see it right there.
There's a cut on there. I'm not sure what that's from.
Oh my goodness.
Not a finger or place on the hand that you really use for cubing, but
hopefully not affecting his turning too much. Doesn't seem like it after the first solve.
That's
5.83, the little lick. Kind of cheeky.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Luke. I don't know what happened. We'll have to get the story afterwards, but that's horrible timing to get a cut on your finger before the World Championships final.
Shades of Zayn Kanani at 2023 U.S. Nationals during 2x2 as well. Of course, I believe in that one, Zayn did end up clutching up, so perhaps Luke Garrett looking to channel some of that as well. An incredible shot there from our top-down camera where you can see that cut.
Just, yeah, close your eyes if you're squeamish.
Greiser has had a very solid average so far. Obviously, 647 is not going to cut it. He's well aware of that. 594 is his counting time so far. The top three right now have 5.43, 5.47, 5.50, extremely tight. So even if 5.67 counts, he's going to need to count another good one to get onto the podium. But this scramble might be it. Pretty fast, a little bit locky. Going for a ZBLL in that situation, actually, and 5.73. He's looking pretty jazzed about it, but unfortunately, I don't think his best possible average is going to get him on. Actually, no, it certainly won't.
Performance, no matter what. He explicitly told us that he wouldn't use ZB in this competition. Ends up getting a case. That's one of the worst COLLs, and not too bad to recognize.
It looks like he went for the ZBF2L as well. So I'm not sure if his mindset here is just to absolutely go for it and risk everything. I think that might be the case because he'll know he needs, a little bit faster.
Garrett now, will he go for Blue Cross just as Matty did on this one where we think that White Cross, well, we know that White Cross is a 3-move solution. Yes, Blue Cross is the pick. Oh, a little bit of an execution error as he gets to the last layer, 6.04 on his fourth.
Luke knows, he's shaking his head after this one. He knows that 6.04 as a counting time is going to put him out of podium contention. Of course, he still has the opportunity to get a fairly nice average.
Yeah, it's such a shame on that first solve. That looked like, it looked like a likely sub-5, and he could have started with 2 sub-5s. So hopefully see a solid finish from Luke, but I don't think today's going to be his day. For Luke Garrett, that is.
Both Garrett and Greiser, amazing solvers. Very, very well known around the US of A. They've put in incredible efforts to make it to the world's final stage. Unfortunately, going to fall short in their hunt for the hardware. But still incredible legacies from the both of them. In some ways, Worlds 2025 is a bit of a pinnacle. But of course, they're still very young in the grand scheme of things. Amazing solvers. I'm sure we will see more of them in the future. As we enter the final 2 solves of our pairing here, the Luke pairing, you can call it. Luke G versus Luke G, a great matchup. Yellow cross the choice. And looked like a bit of just some strange F2L. Not the greatest last layer. Looks okay to me from here, 6.70. Whatever that thing is, I don't think any of us are young enough to know what the 6.7 truly means. 6.05 average.
Yeah, some Zoomer thing, I think.
It's definitely Gen Alpha because I qualify as a Gen Z in the room.
Yeah.
It's taken over this World Championship in some way, shape, or form. As Luke Garrett now for his 5th and final solve. Definitely will not be hitting that WPA.
Doing blue here the way that Matty did. Unfortunately, getting a .OLL.
6.27, not the counting times he wanted to see. He's going to end up with a 6 average, it seems.
Both Lukes ending with the 6.05 average.
And you can hear the reaction from the audience as well. Luke Garrett a little bit ahead based on single. You couldn't have it any other way. The script is perfect, I tell you.
These guys are the same.
Oh, man. Luke G and Luke G 6.05. As Alyssa hops up onto the stage.
Interviewing both of them at the same time.
Congratulations to both of our finalists. You guys, what does it mean to do this together?
I mean, we were in the same situation last year, I mean, I don't know. We bring out the best in each other when we're at local comps. So when we're in championship situations, I think it elevates us even more. But the nerves are still very real. So yeah.
Yeah. If you I don't know if you guys saw, but my finger started bleeding at the start of my first solve, and then I noticed it when I was trying to start my first solve, and then like, I don't know, but that didn't answer your question.
That's all right. I was going to ask you about that next. So, Luke, talk to us about just like what goes into this moment. And I know there's so much preparation that goes into this moment, but yeah, there's so much preparation that goes into this moment. What has the last year looked like for you, and what does it feel like to finally be here?
The last year, it's been like lots of, just consistent practice, I guess. Working on nerve control, working to maintain what I found last year. I mean, it worked pretty okay. I think this average was sub 611. Yeah, sub 611. So best average in a championship final situation. I don't know. I just wanted to be here.
Well, you are a World Championship finalist. That is something to be proud of. Congratulations, and go enjoy the rest of your night.
Well done to both Luke G's. When people heard that I was going to be commentating the finals, they're like, are you cooking up the script? I told them I'd cook up something incredible. That was my contribution, everyone. Of course, all jokes there. 605, 605 as our top three remain unchanged. Qixian, an incredible solver with a 5.43 average. Matty Inaba just behind her, 5.47. Teodor Zajder of Poland, 5.50. An incredibly tight Worlds podium so far, but the remaining four solvers are going to be challenging this in a big way, and do not be surprised if you see a huge shakeup in about 20 minutes' time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, just such a special moment for Luke and Luke there. I think, as Grice has said, they both push each other so much in the local competition, and it's great to have that sort of hometown rival or someone that keeps you motivated, keeps pushing you to improve. And so I think they're both grateful for one another, and they're each a big part of the reason why they made it both to the finals, I would say.
Yeah, it is also really unfortunate. Luke Garrett with the finger cut, needing to manage that. I mean, still getting a 4.68 with a cut on your finger is no small task. It's always very unfortunate, though, but given the circumstances, I think he put on an absolutely fantastic performance.
And once again, as I think I'm going to repeat for basically all the solvers here, they are going to find themselves in these situations.
We only have two matchups left. And we are starting with our veterans. In the 4th seed, he already won 6x6 and 7x7 this weekend, and is your 5-time 3x3 world record holder. Your 2017 world champion, your North American champion, and the defending world champion from the United States of America, Max Park. In the 3rd seed, he won this 5x5 title this weekend in world record time, has podiums in 4x4, 6x6, and 7x7, is your current European champion, and was 3rd place at the last World Championship, representing Poland, Timon Kolasinski. Runners may now bring the cubes.
The amount of podiums between these two, as you see the head-to-head, two incredible solvers. We are in the USA after all. They are going to end up on the cubing Mount Rushmore without a doubt. Max Park, Timon Kolasinski, the defending world champion Max Park, 3rd place at the World Championships in 2023. Timon Kolasinski. We are in for an incredible pairing here, folks.
Do not leave your seat.
10 wins for Max against 9 wins for Timon. These guys are neck and neck when it comes to performance.
8 seconds.
And we'll see the color neutrality come out in full force. Max picking green cross here. Fumbling just a little bit at the tail end of what looked like that F2L 607.
Bit of relatively slow TPS for Max coming out here. That's usually one of his strengths for 3x3. A little bit of a lockup there. E-perm is always an unlucky case. It's something that's hard to recognize exactly which orientation you should solve it from. And so, tough solve.
And 16 moves, very long at that, even if it is all RUD. At least for some algorithms. Timon now, he is going to be picking green cross. And really fluid turning. Got to ZBLL so quickly. That is the skill Timon Kolasinski is here to perform with. 4.61.
That was really nice. I think he had one of the easier ZBLL cases there, but the ZBLS is so impressive to see Timon. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that nice ZBLL case. No AUF at the end as well.
Okay, I need to learn that one.
Yeah.
That looked so good.
That one's a nice one to recognize and execute, and he didn't have AUF, so Timon there. That's all practice, though.
Oh, he has shown up in a big way, announcing his arrival to this stage here in Seattle. Beautiful Seattle in the Washington state of the United States of America. Max taking an extra tick.
Yep, some of our competitors take a bit more time. Some of them, like Matty, go super quickly into their solve. It's all personal preference, whatever works for you. Max starting with a 6-0. I think he's not going to be able to count that one and take the title. It'll be very hard if he does that. So he'll need to improve on the 6-0.
Well, White is sitting on the bottom right now. I think all competitors may have picked White in this scenario. There's some of that fast turning Felix was mentioning. 5.21, great comeback.
Essentially non-stop turning there. A couple of nice cases to finish off last layer as well. But take a look at this F2L, folks. Ooh, that's a little bit of a fancy last edge case in order to get orientation. Just doing soon a perm, but still very, very fast.
The hallmark of Max Park solving is the turning accuracy. He's locking up way less than some of our other competitors. He has incredible turning accuracy, and that was on full display in that solve.
It's so, so important to turn accurately, and Max just putting it on full view here.
8 seconds.
Timon looks like he's going to pick White Cross again. Yes, indeed. Can he repeat from 4.61?
Come on!
Come on, he says. 4.89. Awesome solving from Timon. He is well on his way to a sub-5 average. That would take first place right now.
Let's take a look at this one. Oh, it gets another lovely LZBLL. I think that's an 8 or 9 mover.
Easy to recognize, easy to execute.
Now that one I don't need to learn. That one even I know.
But again, to do it in this moment under these circumstances and execute cleanly.
The pace what it takes. So good for him right now.
Max, after hearing that crowd reaction, will be interesting to see how he responds. Green is his cross of choice. Great looking solution so far. Last layer 5.90. Pretty solid. Unfortunately, it does seem like he is going to be outside of what you need to count. And he's going to have a tough road ahead of him if he wants to get back onto the podium.
He does have better execution here than the first solve that he had. The same OLL, this time able to perform it.
Yeah, Max, very, very consistent solver, but some of our other competitors, Timon, Xuan Yiheng, have just a little bit higher end turning speed efficiency.
8 seconds.
Timon has worn this hat and these shorts all of World Championships, perhaps channeling some kind of energy here. What can he show? 5:31, very solid counting time. That's a better counting time than any of the averages put up so far.
That's a decent ZBLL as well. It's actually a modification of the GC perm that competitors have been having so much trouble with. He's able to execute it well and put down a 5:31.
I almost thought he landed himself another 8-move ZBLL there, but it was a slightly different case. But yeah, very strong. Timon in the Australian Open hat visited, I think at the start of 2024. Went to the Australian Open, I think 5 or 6 days in a row. He was loving it, and that hat's doing him wonders this weekend.
Channeling Sir Djokovic, Nadal, some of the greats. Imagining himself in that position with the crown, one of the only achievements left perhaps in his illustrious speedcubing career. World champion in 4x4, 5x5, 6x6. The main event 3x3 eludes him just.
And one thing that we haven't talked about so far, once we finish these two solvers, we will know one person on the podium guaranteed, regardless of what happens on the last two.
Will it be Max? Will it be Timon? Max on blue cross. Will he be the one? 6.50. I don't think so. Even if he counts that 5.21, can he get ahead? No. 5.72, his best possible average. Max Park, the 2023 world champion, will be off the podium.
Which means we will, for certain, have a new world champion.
Indeed. Indeed. Will Timon make his return? Third place last year. He felt he could do a little bit better. Max instantly went for blue. Timon now considering the white cross angle, and that's what he's going to go for. Needs some great execution. Got to ZBL so quickly. Get in for Timon Kolasinski. 4.74. Fantastic solving from him.
Timon is guaranteed a sub-5 average.
Yeah, that fourth scramble doing nicely there for Timon. A slightly trickier Pi ZBLL, but again, nice distribution, getting it on the easiest scramble of the finals. That's working out really nicely for Timon.
I mentioned Beiling earlier. He is sitting next to us. His mouth is wide open. Just incredible stuff. Timon Kolasinski will overtake Qixian Cao and will knock off Teodor Zeider from the current podium. Oh my goodness. And he will make a return to the podium as well, reclaiming it from 2023. Max Park on his last solve now. Nice OLL into PLL. 5.81 for him.
And a big round of applause there for Max as he finishes his last solve of the competition. He's had a great competition, winning 2 titles, both in 6x6 and 7x7, but it wasn't to be for 3x3 today for Max.
Still a fairly good performance from him. 592 average. Majority of our finalists getting a sub, oh my goodness, a sub-6 average.
Just incredible stuff. The level of speed cubing on display here is through the roof. Timon with his best average in this competition, maybe aside from 5x5 world record. Sub-5 average. Amazing stuff. Can he improve it? 4.75 would put him in ridiculous contention to win the entire thing. Just incredible stuff. Silence goes over the crowd. He goes into ZBLL. 5.80. Maybe not the best. He's wondering which position he's in. There's that cheer!
No matter what, Timon Kolasinski will have a spot on the podium. A 498 average is a total of 0.4 faster than his previous world championship average. And you can see him pop off. It's his moment.
Yeah, he is so excited. Third place in 2023. Will it be second? Will it be first? Or will it be third again this time? We'll find out.
Just off the camera, Max and Timon hugging. You saw in the graphic earlier, they've gone head-to-head so many times.
Congratulations
very familiar
to
with
both
each other.
of our finalists.
Alyssa now with Timon and Max.
Good job, Max. Congratulations to Max Park.
Well-deserved applause from the audience as well.
Timon Kolasinski, you have just put down the first sub-5 average in a world championship final ever. 498. You're in the first position. You will be guaranteed a podium. You will match your performance in the last world championship at least. How are you feeling?
Well, I guess statistically maybe this is expected, but after switching methods last year, I did not expect this whatsoever. I'm just shocked. I don't understand how this keeps happening.
I don't either. I feel like I'm talking to you all the time. What has the past year looked like for you as you prepared for this world championship?
Well, after I came back from China, and even right after a competition in China ended, it was just instantly starting to learn all the ZB algorithms. And then once I learned them, I spent like an unbelievable amount of hours just practicing those algorithms so I wouldn't forget them, then trying to perfect them, and then trying to do those in solves. It's just been so difficult to make that switch. And I'm just hoping in the long term it's worth it. I did not think it would be worth it or even close to being the same like this year, but here we are.
Here we are. Any shout outs, thank yous, anything you want to give?
It's too much. I don't know.
You're overwhelmed. Timon, Kolasinski, congratulations. You are on the World Championship podium.
Oh, just fantastic stuff. For the very first time in speed cubing's history, a sub-5 average in 3x3 finals, guys. Just amazing stuff. What do you think contributed to Timon's success at this World Championship?
I mean, Timon, like he said, he's been learning ZB, he's been practicing ZB, he's been trying to implement it, doing it in solves at the speed that he wants. And he got so many of them here and was able to do them almost perfectly. So, good practice, good execution.
I think many would sort of be expecting to see Timon on the podium again, but again, nothing is ever guaranteed in cubing in this format. It's this high variance in these finals, and so to see him actually do it, I mean, we've seen it a million times, but to just keep on doing it is absolutely incredible. So, an absolutely fantastic performance there from Timon. That average has a shot of winning. It would have won round one. You know, let's see what happens.
Exactly, an uphill battle perhaps for our final two competitors. There you see it, 4.98. That could win the World Championship, the fastest average we have ever seen. Timon has an incredible ability when he comes to the US at these major championships to pull out sub-5 averages, doing so at North American All-Stars, and of course, to win the North American Championships. I believe his WCA profile picture is him holding the trophy of NAC. A huge moment for him. He should be extremely proud. He is extremely proud. An amazing solver, and he will come back to the world's podium, at least matching, as Alyssa said, if not bettering his performance from Worlds 2023.
I don't think there's ever been a better solver in a competition setting than Timon Kolasinski.
That's coming from the greatest solver of all time, everyone, so you know he's serious when he says it. Oh, wow. And just like that, 10 solves are between us and the end of an amazing World Championship, the 2025 edition, the 12th edition, 12 years since it was last held in the United States of America. Before we go to our last two solvers, thoughts from you guys on this rendition of Worlds?
It's been fantastic as a competition. The venue's been excellent. The fact that we have 2,000 competitors and 6,000 people is just incredible.
Solvers, our second seed.
Here we go.
He placed second at the Asian Championship. He is second world ranked in 3x3 average and is your current 3x3 single world record holder in a time of 3.05 seconds. Representing China, Xuanyi Gang. And your top seed, he has set 10 3x3 world records. He has a ridiculous 73 of the top 100 3x3 averages ever. He is your current Asian champion and placed second at the 2023 World Championships, Yihang Wang. Runners, bring the cubes.
And then there were two, Xuanyi Gang, Yihang Wang, separated by 1/100th of a second on single. Of course, Yihang holding the world record average, the only person in the world to have sub-4 Olympic average of 5. These two have tussled many times, but never at the world stage. It's a return for Yihang, for Xuanyi, his first world championship. A very talented solver and very masterful with ZPLL. As he demonstrates here, opening his account with a 494.
That didn't even look like anything special. The timer stops, 494. Oh my goodness. Let's have a look at this. Slight little pause there with the rotation for the last pair, but otherwise a very smooth and efficient solution from Xuan Yi. It's just what we see from him.
Yi-Hung Wang ending up in second place at World Championship 2023, losing by a very narrow 0.1 on average. He's looking for redemption. Perhaps the greatest 3x3 solver of all time. Extremely fluid, extremely fast. 5:45 for him to open things up. Xuan Yi advantage, but it's not over yet. 8 solves remain.
Looked like there were multiple rotations that he had going from green over to orange and then back. There, I can't tell when F2L ends, OLL goes, and then PLL goes after that, though. Fantastic execution.
Transitions are just non-existent for this guy. Incredibly fluid stuff. Xuan Yi now inspecting his second. I just have to point out the SpongeBob hand warmers, just amazing. Oh, a little bit locky there at the beginning, but 430. What is that shrug? We call it the aura singularity for a reason, I guess. An incredible solve. He will be counting a sub 5.
Wow, wow, wow. Finishes with the J perm as the ZBLL there. That's a nice case to get.
That's a great ZBLL.
Oh, yeah.
We saw Timon with some nice cases. Xuan Yi getting some nice treatment as well.
Oh, and hitting the shrug.
Wow.
Grabbing those SpongeBob hand warmers.
Wow, they're really working for him. Yi-Hung, the favorite coming into this, kind of has his back against the wall now as the crowd is silent.
This is the moment. Xuan Yi's won the last 3 finals head-to-head against Yi-Heng, I believe. So, does have a little bit of a mental edge over him, potentially.
This would be huge. Second solve upcoming for Yi-Hung Wang. And the little Master delivers!
Goodness!
Bang! 3.80!
Unbelievable execution here. Look at this. Not a single. Oh, there's a flaw in a solve that's 3.8 seconds long.
Oh my goodness, that is the solve of all solves. It might not be the world record, but he knows he's gotten it when it mattered most. Fantastic stuff.
8 seconds.
Oh man, Xuan Yi to attempt to follow that up. Of course, he's a solver of that capability as well. This is looking extremely good. Whoa, 1.2 for himself. He's counting 430 now.
Whoa! That's insane. And just the stare into the crowd.
Stare down at the camera. Look at this solution. Oh my goodness, he does a pair before he finishes his last cross edge. Getting another Olo, skipping a T-perm. Again, look, if you're getting J-perms and T-perms as your ZB cases, wow.
Dude, I don't care if Young has 73 of the top 100 averages. If you get cases like that while you orient edges, just insanity.
Oh, it's Titans at the top.
Oh, man.
He does have that 3.8, which he's very capable of another one, and that'll get him a counting 3, and that'll put him in a great spot if he can do it. So that 3.8 is very, very beneficial.
And remember, as we've mentioned earlier, these scrambles looking pretty good for white-yellow.
Especially the fourth.
White-yellow only. Here we go, a huge third solve here. Young, great turning, absolutely flawless.
Oh my goodness, they're neck and neck.
They are counting solves just 1/100th of a second apart. Yi-Hung Wang, Xuan Yi Gung, absolutely incredible. Oh man, I can't imagine what I'm thinking if I were Timon Kolasinski. I don't think he has a chance.
And he has an end perm?
Yeah.
Are you joking?
A little bit unlucky there for Yi-Hung. Now, scramble 4.
Let's just let this play out.
Scramble 4! 395!
A sub 4 solve of his own. absolutely no emotion. Nerves of steel, 3.95. Xuan Yigang is in the driver's seat to win this world championship. He is guaranteed to get a sub 4.5 average. What is the world we live in?
Unbelievable. And he's on PR pace as well, by the way. Remember, he's got a PR average of 432. And to break PR in Worlds Finals.
Incredible. Incredible. Let's see what Yiheng can do on this fourth solve, though.
What a set of scrambles. We are seeing an amazing pairing. We've had back-to-back fireworks from Yiheng, Xuanyi. Oh, the best. Like I say, the best always shine when the pressure is highest. And man, these guys are proving me right. Now, Yiheng does have 5.45. If he were to count that.
Yiheng, before the solve, calling about flash in the audience.
The flash photography, of course, very distracting for solvers.
Correctly calling it beforehand. There should be no issues here. He'll be able to take an extra second to compose himself and focus on this incredible scramble.
And of course, yeah, this is number 4, the one that might matter the most, the one that might win the world championship for Hyung Wang.
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness! 3.94! He's going to count that solve! I need to see WPA, BPA populate here. 402, 457. It's not over yet, folks. One of these two is going to win the world championship, and it's going to come down to the final solve.
Look at the PLLs that Yiheng is getting. He's getting E-perms. He's getting N-perms.
Can you believe it? 3 sub-4s in one pairing. Xuan Yigang, solve 5. What can he put on here? Another Soon ZBLL, 5.10. The worst possible average, 4.49. It is possible for Yiheng to do worse. He would need to count a 5.45.
All he needs for the World Championship is a 5.23.
Yiheng finds himself in the exact same situation as he faced himself in 2 years ago, needing the solve on the last one.
He was the last solver at Worlds 2023. He's going to be the one to close out this World Championships. You can hear him calling out the flash. Once again, of course, they'll be dealt with.
This would be incredible redemption for Yiheng after such a narrow miss in 2023.
Keaton Ellis, Felix Zemdegs, could you write a better story than this?
Absolutely not.
5.23 to win the World Championship, put a cap on an amazing career at just 11 years old. Xuan Yigang could also win it here. It all depends on this solve. And I'm not even going to commentate it. Yiheng, take it away. And he's done it! Yiheng Wang is your world champion. The absolute pop-off, 4.43. He's done it with an incredible average, 4.23. The podium is all sub 5. Worlds 2025 comes to an epic conclusion. Yiheng Wang gets redemption and tastes gold at the World Championship.
2 years ago, did not make it on the last solve and loses to Max Park by 0.01. This time, Yiheng takes it in fashion, winning by more than a quarter of a second.
Just amazing stuff from Yiheng Wang. Trading threes with Xuan Yigang. Here's Alyssa.
Here. This is your world champion, Yiheng Wang.
And these are our top 3 3x3 competitors. In third place, with an average of 4.98, Timon Kolasinski.
In second place, with an average of 4.49 seconds, Xunyi Gung. And in first place, with an average of 4.23 seconds, the world champion in 3x3 and the winner of the Rubik's WCA World Championship 2025, Yihong Wang. Thank you.